Well, hello and welcome.
Oh,
No, back together again.
back together.
It is me, Brandon McCaffrey, along with
Carol Ann Whitehead. Heidi.
Oh, we sound a bit fancy when we say it like
I know.
We don't have Belinda here with us today. As she's actually off to be inaugurated as the new Prime Minister.
The new Prime Minister.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
PM scandal.
PM scandal.
Oh, see what I did
Part
there?
of the scandalous party. I'd be here for that. But how have you been?
I've been really, really well. Just dashing around, lots of things to do, getting in places where I shouldn't do.
And have you got a permit for that?
I have a permit for everything.
But we're not the only ones in studio today. Please welcome our lovely Michael Adams.
Hello, lovely to be here.
Welcome back to the sofa. How you been?
Thank you very much. I'm very good, very busy.
Very busy.
Yeah, it's been one hell of a day, but yeah, nice to be sat down here with you guys tonight.
You've been running a wee radio show?
I have, yeah. It's strange. I start the day here and end the day here, but I'm not complaining. It's good fun.
Oh, when we talk again, we talk about American followers.
Well, that's right, yeah.
We're going global,
radio
aren't
is
we?
moving up in the world.
Yeah.
But we've got a heck of a show tonight, don't we?
We have. And talking about Americans.
Speaking of the Americans.
We've got our first guest, New Yorker. I think he's a New Yorker.
I think he is.
James Gavin, author, journalist, lecturer, all-round dude.
Who has written George Michael a life. Please welcome James Gavin.
Native New York.
Hi, James.
I was born there. Hi, you two. I am so tickled to be on this show. Of course, word about this show traveled to New York long ago, and I can't believe I'm staring into your sweet faces. Thank you.
Write that down, somebody.
Right. Somebody, I want that on my plaque somewhere, and I get the blue plaque. I want that.
So let's talk about. I've noticed you did a book about, we won't talk about that now, but Lena Horne and Peggy Lee, my God, goddesses.
Lena Horne, Peggy Lee, and Chet Baker were my three biographies prior to George. Yes, I just love these complicated, tortured, conflicted lives that resulted in beautiful music, and especially beautiful, sad music. Because if the music is beautiful and sad and it touches me, you've got my attention.
Oh, well, George Michael, what prompted you to choose George Michael?
Pretty much exactly what I just said. It was an album in particular that you know, and an album that your viewers know, called Older, that came out in 1996. That was George's, in essence, it was George's love letter to the love of his life, who had died of AIDS in 1993. And George had not released an album in quite some time. Now I'm going to speak to you from an American perspective and say that although Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1, which was his big album of 1990 and yielded songs like Freedom 90, and a lot of George's biggest songs were on that album. But he went about suing his record label at that point, Sony, and he didn't release an album for 1991, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in 1996 came Older. And this album was not a success in the United States. It was #1 in the UK. But this album struck me as almost as though George had opened up his diary and had given us these wounded, very intimate, and quite stoned, because George was very stoned when he made that album. But he had shown us it's true. It sounds like it. The whole album sounds like it's floating in ether. And it has a Brazilian feeling to it, because Anselmo, his boyfriend, was Brazilian. And that album captivated me. And that is the album that made me pay close attention to George Michael. And when that album flopped in the United States, I felt as though I felt closer to George, because I thought, damn, people don't get this record. And this is the most beautiful thing and the most honest thing he's ever done. And at that point, I said, someday I've got to write something about George Michael. And came December 25th, 2016, family Christmas in the New York area. And I and I got the news, and I resolved at that time to try and write a book about George Michael, even though I assumed that everybody else would be doing the same thing. As far as I know, I was the only one.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that Christmas day. It was absolutely, it was devastating, James. It was. It really, really was. I want to sort of take you to. You spoke to all these people. Did you get to speak to the now late great Aretha Franklin?
Oh, impossible. I tried. Sadly, no. There were the big celebrities, the big pop stars like Elton, Boy George. I tried every which way to get through to those people, and I could not. Elton's excuse was that he was had written his own book and was about to do his own publicity junket for that, and so couldn't get to Elton. Boy George was just impossible. I tried so many ways to get through. I didn't get a lot of those big celebrity names, but you know what? When you hear those people interviewed about somebody they knew, generally speaking, those are not chock full of deep insight and sensitivity. Those interviews that they give tend to sound rather glib. And I sensed from the beginning that the people to get to were the lesser known people who were behind the scenes people, certainly musicians, people that had observed George on an ongoing basis and didn't really have a vested interest so much in what they said. I got so much truth. I got so many deeply revealing stories and insights from those people. And in the end, I decided I had knocked myself out to get to a lot of people that I did not manage to get through to, and it didn't matter at all. I got to the bottom of every major episode in George's life with a lot of deeply insightful and sensitive quotes from people who had known him.
Yeah.
Would you say then you really got to almost know the real George by getting to know the people who weren't in the spotlight?
Thank you for that. It was like living with somebody that I'd never met. I lived with George Michael for 5 years. And in that time, I developed an enormous fondness for George because George was a great guy. Anybody who knew him will tell you that. He had a big heart. He was generous. He helped so many friends of his. He helped so many strangers. He helped so many organizations that mattered to him. And I think that when his career started to go seriously off track around the late 90s or so, and certainly after that men's room incident in which he forced himself out of the closet in an unfortunate way, I think that George's philanthropy gave him a kind of a base. It gave him a sense of purpose. It made him feel that he was doing good in the world at a time when his musical output had thinned considerably.
His true friends were there as well, because I know Shirley Kemp. She was one of his true friends, and it was George that introduced Shirley to her now husband of 25 years, Martin, which is a beautiful story.
It is a beautiful story. The Shirley and Pepsi have their own book out very recently. I confess I haven't seen it yet. Have you read it?
No. You see, at the time, I thought I was Pepsi.
Trying your best.
You can see it. I can tell.
Right, James, obviously, you've got your book. Is it out now that people can buy on the shelves? Because obviously you're doing your book tour, sit and talk about it. Where can people get this?
Well, as of tomorrow is the UK release date. So I'm getting to talk to you on the eve of the UK release. In the US, it was released on June the 28th. And this book tomorrow it will be in UK bookshops galore. But otherwise, on all the digital platforms and through Amazon, it's going to be everywhere because I am astounded at the international interest that this book is getting. I've never experienced anything like it with any of my other books. People care about George to a degree that even I did not anticipate. We've had stories in Germany. We've had numerous stories in Australia, in Italy, as well as features and more features in the US. So who knows, maybe my ship is coming in at last. when I'm old enough to look
Fantastic.
and wave at it.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah.
And it's going to be amazing for people to, like you, get to meet the man through the stories that you've learned, and that's brilliant for the community. So thank you very much, James, for coming on to talk to us.
Bless you for doing that.
Thank you.
I have loved talking to the two of you. I could do it for hours.
Oh, he can come back.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
You can come back. Thank you very much, James. We'll let you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.
Sounds fantastic.
Oh, honestly, yeah. I mean, I can't wait to read that. I mean, I know snippets, as you can tell.
Of course.
Yeah, I know snippets, but I can't wait to read that because, like you said, real people.
It's that niceness, isn't it? You know, you can meet so many people in this industry and they have a different view of you, but it's the people who really know you, who grew up with you, who meet you on those random nights out that are the true people that end up knowing you in a way that those people in the spotlight never will.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of the spotlight, let's see what our Hayley's up to on the box.
Hi, I'm Hayley and welcome to this week's On The Box. How's everyone doing? Now, recently I started to watch a series called First Kill on Netflix. It's about the love between two girls. One of the girls is from a vampire family, a very famous vampire family, and the other girl is from a famous hunting family as well, who hunts vampires and other monsters, as it were. And nothing can pull them apart. They're really, really connected. Their families try, etc., but it isn't happening. I think I'm about 7 episodes in, but it's really good, so get on that. Now, there's also on Now TV or Sky, there is The Time Traveller's Wife. It's a sci-fi drama, a romantic drama, but it actually reminds me a little bit of Quantum Leap. Do you remember that from back in the day? It's about a man called Henry who has a genetic disorder, and that allows him to time travel. And it's sporadic as well, like he doesn't always know, it just disappears. Sometimes he knows beforehand, otherwise he doesn't, and he just has to have clothes dotted all over the place. It's quite cool. Also on I think it's on All 4 actually, I watched Freedom 50 Years of Pride. Absolutely brilliant, inspiring story of pride activism in the UK over the last 50 years. If you've missed it, it's available on All 4 to catch up. Also, if you missed it on Tuesday, you can watch Freddie Flintoff's Field of Dreams, and that is available on iPlayer, and you can see him returning to his hometown of Preston, also mine, and he inspires teenagers to take up cricket. Give that a watch as well. Now that's it from me. I shall catch you next time, and remember, stronger together. Bye.
It's Jo Brittany, your sculpting coach, for another minute of mojo. This one, if you want a little mojo boost, it's gratitude is the attitude. Now, I really live by this phrase. Not every day is good, but there's something good in every day. Scientists have discovered that people who practice gratitude live longer and happier lives. When you practice gratitude, it boosts serotonin in the brain, which is the chemical that's really important for your mood. So your gratitude doesn't have to be anything complicated. Mine is really simple. When I wake up in the morning, my gratitude is I'm grateful that my breath is breathing itself. Give it a go if you want a mojo boost. I'll be back next time for another minute of mojo. In the meantime, you can connect with me on my Instagram page, jobritton.mojo.
I always feel relaxed after a mojo.
Oh, do you know, I think one time we should do a show in a spa or something.
Ooh.
Can you imagine?
I would love a show day in a spa.
Show day in a spa with
get on board with that.
Mojo sorting us out.
Yeah.
I think that would be fantastic. You know, just really, really chilled.
I'd enjoy
just
that.
embracing it all. Talking about embracing, we've got our next guest.
We do.
I'm a big fan of this individual. It is Councillor Amna Abdulatif. Hello,
Fantastic.
Amna.
I'm glad you were able to say I'm a second because I didn't want to.
How are you? So,
can I just ask? Can I be invited to the spa session?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm very up for that.
You know, this is so nice. Anyway, it's 6 days in, and it's Happy South Asian Heritage Month.
It is.
Yeah. So tell us what you up to. for South Asian Month? What's going on? You've got a project.
Yeah, so I currently work for the Anne Frank Trust, and part of my role is actually trying to create the Youth Empowerment Program, which is our young ambassadors who are trying to tackle discrimination and prejudice in their communities, in their schools. So it's, young people who are between the ages of about 10 to 15, and what we've set them is a task to kind of get them to actually voice their opinions about what does South Asian Heritage Month mean to them. And who are the icons, who are the South Asian icons. So it would be really interesting to kind of see what their responses are. So we've given them a deadline until the end of next week to kind of get their responses, and that will be shared all across social media, because it's more important really to hear from young people themselves, and particularly those that are from South Asian heritage, to feel that they've got a space to be able to talk about their own background and their heritage and their culture and what that means. So that's our project at the Anne Frank Trust, which I'm really excited to see all the responses from those young people.
And I always try, and for our viewers, I'm always trying to list them. So it's kind of like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal. I've missed quite a few out. The Maldives is in South Asia.
South Asia is huge, and it's so diverse and such a complicated history. And the history, our history, in the UK, and the relationship with South Asia is very complex, as we know, and there are lots of problematic parts of our history that we need to also be very open and talk about, in terms of the British Empire and British rule in South Asia and so on. But there's so much to also be able to celebrate, the history and the culture and everything that the South Asian community has brought to this country is huge. And so it's a real opportunity to reflect on.
Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. They have they've got a Muslim superhero, and they've been talking about the partition and things like that. And a lot of people who don't know this information are now getting to grips with it, are learning it, are researching it for themselves.
Really admiring that.
Yeah, the representation. I mean, I remember seeing that, and so many young people that I've been working with sent that over and just said, "Look, it looks like me. It's somebody who represents me and who I am." And I just, I think there's no other thing that's as great as people being able to see themselves in these superheroes, in these brilliant, actors, actresses, people who are there showing up and being in that space and being able to connect to them.
Yeah, well, you and I are standard bearers and flag wavers for the hashtag See Me, Be Me. We are there saying that out there so that people and young people can aspire to those roles, aspire to be a superhero. And other superheroes are superheroes of the field. What's happening today? Something is kicking off.
I told you I was going to get you. If you
I love that. I love that, Carol. I've actually got my eye on this side to catch in the game, and England's actually just scored, amazingly enough. So the UEFA Euros have kicked off in Trafford. So England are playing Austria at the moment, which is fantastic. And I have to say, you know what? I was so... Normally, when you're talking about women's sport and women's football particularly, there isn't really a lot of attention on it. There isn't this kind of build up of energy and time spent talking about the women's game. And actually, there's just been so much more this time round. And I think it's just incredible. I was watching just the opening segment on TV and just listening to actually the players and what they're feeling and what they're thinking, and being introduced to the Austria team. And it's phenomenal. I think we need to be doing so much more about the women's game and taking seriously actually women in sport.
They're all so skillful. And the event we were at on Saturday, the GM for Women 2028 event, I interviewed a little 10-year-old. She came to me in the Pop-Up Your Manchester studio in her football kit, and I interviewed her, which we'll put out in the next week or so, and talked about her passion for football. And I said to her, "What's the best thing about playing football?" And she said, "When I play football on a mixed team with the boys, they underestimate me and I slide tackle them And I thought, go on, girl.
Go on, yeah, exactly.
It's a big thing, isn't it? Because obviously we had like the World Cup a few years ago with the last one that we were really doing very well in. And a lot of people were going like, oh, isn't it awful that we didn't get as far? Well, like, actually, the women's team did really well in the Women's World Cup. So it's one of those recognition things. It should be on the same par. But you've not only been talking about the football and how empowering it is for the women, you've also been talking about the racism in football, along with the 3 hijabs, which is fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
So what kind of work have you been pushing out there? Because racism is so prominent in football. Even today, I was at a Manchester United match a few weeks ago, and you still hear it in some of those chants. Do you think that football, for some people, is almost an outlet for racism?
I think, the problem is that, the racism that we see in football is just a symptom of the racism that we see generally in society. And I think, if football just seems to be that space that some people choose to display that racist behavior. And so, for us, I think the 3 hijabis really started off as kind of a tweet that went viral randomly last year. Actually, it was around this time last year I saw the messages, when you get your Facebook, memories sent. So we were on Channel 4, I think, when the viral tweet went out, and the 3 hijabis, the play on the 3 hijabis going to see England thrash the 3 lions thrashed Ukraine, or whatever it was at the time, and it just platformed. I think the problem is that women's voices, and particularly women who are minoritized in communities' voices, talking about sport, it's just not what you see. It's just not, you hardly see women, let alone women who look like me, talking about football. And so we became almost, suddenly all this interest, the number of interviews we had over that week. And then when the final game happened, we'd had a bit of we had this platform that was created from that tweet. And it was just disappointing, it was just so upsetting to see the reaction of actually nobody expected the England team to get as far as it did in the first place. And then to actually get to the final and push Italy, who's an excellent team, right to penalties was a massive achievement in its own. We had a really young team. And then to see the, just the atrocious level of racist abuse.
The vitriol was it was terrible.
Absolutely disgusting. And so we just felt like we needed to use that little bit of a platform that we had to do something. And that petition that we sent out the morning after that game, just in less than 48 hours, got over 1 million signatures, and it obviously meant
to. I looked at
it's now at 1.2, but that first that kind of energy was really, that first 2 days was just insane. And we were all over the place talking to people were sharing it, celebrities were signing it. It was just insane, so it was, and for us it gave us a bit of hope. It was like, at least we're having this conversation, and at least people felt like they they could do something to say this wasn't okay, that we can't be in a society that accepts that these players could just be abused and just left.
And that's brilliant. And before you go, Amna, and for your two colleagues, give them a shout out. Let's have their names.
Oh, my 2 colleagues, the brilliant Shaista Aziz and Huda Jawad, the 2 other hijabis.
You 3 are the 3. You are the 3 lionesses. Your Manchester will be right behind you. You are our 3 lionesses. It's fantastic. But one more thing. Congratulations on being shortlisted in the ITV National Diversity Awards. I did a whoop whoop shout out for you on Twitter.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Really appreciate it. Thanks so much to you both.
And thank you for joining us. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much, Amna.
Thank you.
Honestly, it's fantastic to hear things like that.
Yeah.
It really is.
Her and the ladies she's a diamond. They're diamonds. They're the lionesses. They are the lionesses.
Does that mean that we're just like the Pride?
Oh.
Especially on this show, I think that works well.
Yeah, that works
what
really
Prides
well.
do love? They love a bit of food. In fact, we should go down to Nels and get some.
Yeah. Ooh.
Hello, Michael here with highlights of the great events happening across our city in the next week. First up is your chance to celebrate the UEFA Women's Euro 2022 with a fan party in Piccadilly Gardens. From today right through until the 31st of August, the party will welcome fans and friends of all ages from home and abroad to be part of the biggest ever European women's sporting event. The Manchester Fan Party offers a packed programme of activity including football activities, face painting, matchday screenings on giant screens and an array of food and drink. Next to Manchester's newest jazz bar, which is tucked away off St Anne's Square. The late night piano and cabaret lounge opened in a historic building with speak-easy style entrance. Sonata is a music-led venue, a bar where piano and song are centre stage with a programme that spans modern and classic, balancing the popular and accessible with the artistic and theatrical. And don't forget that musical comedy Sister Act is still at the Palace Theatre until Saturday. Starring the ab-fab Jennifer Saunders and Birds of a Feather's Leslie Joseph, the show is based on the 1992 film of the same name, starring Whoopi Goldberg. You can check out my interview with actress Lizzie B from last week's episode on our YouTube channel. Tickets can be purchased on the ATG website. And be sure to let us know what you're up to over the next week on our Twitter. It's @YourMCR. And whatever you're doing, I hope it's a good one.
Are you warm? Oh, look at me.
I'm a wee bit warm,
Are you warm?
Are you warm? And do you know, that's not the only things that are happening in Manchester, because at the minute we have the Greater Manchester Fringe.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of fringes on the sofa.
We do. We've got a couple of people on the fringes of the studio. I'm going to take that. That's going to be my favourite thing.
Stop stealing
Please
everything
welcome
I say.
Caroline Lamb and Patrick Price.
Hi.
Hello. Now, Caroline, we're going to talk to you first because you've got a very interesting show going on. Tell us a little bit how it came together, because it involves, it's like a reconstruction, but it involves sex offenders, and it's also set in a fake film studio. This is very confusing. Please explain.
Yeah, it's interestingly, it's when you see it, it's actually quite sort of stripped back and simple, but it's got a lot of layers to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called On Me, and what it is, it's set on a true crime film set. It's backstage behind the scenes of a true crime TV documentary. So these that you watch where there's a reenactment where two actors are playing say, in this case, the abuser and the victim.
Yes.
The issue here is, the audience is following these actors and watching as they start to develop quite strong feelings for each other.
Yeah.
Which is obviously quite difficult because it's not exactly how you'd want to meet your other half.
Wow.
It's quite an intense experience for them working on a film set. One of them is a lot more experienced. The female actor is a lot more experienced. The male actor less so. So it's kind of, she's showing him the ropes, as it were.
Yeah.
But he's playing this awful abuser.
This more dominant character. While
yes.
Also,
yes.
Yeah.
And really what it does is it explores the idea of kind of female safety, and also the sense that men have as having to protect or feeling like they should protect women, whereas women maybe potentially want to just enjoy their lives and not have to look over their shoulders all the time.
Absolutely.
But then at the end of the day, there is the very real issue of gender-based violence. If it's not one particular woman, it's going to be someone she knows that it happens to.
Yeah.
You can't just forget about that.
No.
And that's kind of what the play's about, really. It's about female safety, and it's about the fear that men and allies of women have in terms of sort of looking after women, but also letting them have their own lives.
Because it's interesting, the concept that you've gone down the route for with it, because obviously, like we say, it's through a reenactment and stuff like that, because you could easily have just done this show about an abuser and a victim, but you've chosen to go down a different route that almost encapsulates everything, but also has a safety net underneath it while they're also playing these roles. What made you choose that kind of area?
Well, I've worked a lot on TV sets before, and it's kind of this sense of this sort of pressure cooker environment. Everything is very heightened. Everything happens very fast. You form these bonds very quickly because you're all overtired. You're all either too hot or too cold. You're all hungry, and so there was that sense of it. But there was also the idea of playing a role, of playing a character. The female actor, the character who is the female actor, is forced into this role of a victim because that's who she's playing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she wants to have a sense of freedom. She wants to have a sense of fun. She wants to have spontaneity. She just wants to be able to love who she loves and not to worry and not to be scared or frightened. But the nature of the role she's playing is that she has to play that role.
Yeah.
And the other way around, there's that idea that, especially in the media, there's this sense that men have something inherently animalistic in them that is going to be brought out, and you know, they can't help it. That's just who they are. But the thing is that I think a lot of men find that quite an upsetting stereotype.
Yeah.
And the idea that this very gentle character who throughout the play develops this almost this sense of neurosis, this idea of what could he be doing to this woman who, as we find out, has some upsetting issues from her past that she's trying to ignore. You know, he is trying desperately to make sure he's not harming her, he's not upsetting her, and yet when the cameras roll, he has to attack her.
Right.
Yeah.
And have you performed this before? Is this going to be the first time you're performing?
Actually, no. Interestingly, I began to sort of self-produce this piece. I got the fantastic director Helen Parry on board, who we actually have in common.
Yes.
And then I was chosen to be part of the Questors Festival of New Theatre in Ealing in London, which is taking place in the 18th and the 22nd of this month. So I already had the Manchester team on board, and then it was on in London as well. And as part of the competition I entered, that I sort of helped me get into this festival, they stipulated that it had to be a sort of the world premiere of the piece. So 18th to the 22nd, it's in Ealing in London at the Questors Theatre, and then the 27th to the 30th, it's here at the Seven Oaks.
Fantastic.
Right. That's brilliant.
Now, like we say, you two have the connection, as you've just mentioned. Helen Parry not only directed On Me, also directed The Day the World Came to Huddersfield. If you'd like to hold your little mic.
Yeah. Are you from Huddersfield?
I'm not from Huddersfield, no.
From what I hear, there's a few things we'll get on to, namely a Northern Irish accent. But we'll talk about that. Now, The Day the World Came to Huddersfield is about the first national UK Pride. And you guys not only have, you've just finished your show, you've got an exhibition on, but you also recreated the original march.
We did, yeah.
What was that like?
Oh my God, it was the most incredible experience for me, not just as an actor, but as a queer person, to kind of walk in those literal footsteps where those people marched years ago. And the most amazing thing happened. We were walking past a church and there was a gay wedding happening at the church. So we started chanting over to them. They were cheering at us, and it was just kind of a big full circle moment. It was really nice.
What year was the original march? Was it 80s?
81.
81.
Yeah, 21 years. So there's quite a few of you are included in this show.
Yeah. What
exactly is the show about then? Who are the people that we meet?
So the show is about the march and the people that attended the march in 1981. 3 of the characters in it were real people that were actually there. One of them, Mark Ashton, was who I played. And then the rest of the characters were kind of imagined characters that could have been there. And it explores all of their stories, their individual stories. It's kind of a series of 10 monologues spliced together. And then they all come together for the march.
Now, Mark Ashton, if I'm right, was also was in the gay and lesbians for Welsh minors as well. That was in the film Pride that people can see.
Yeah, that's right. He was the co-founder.
Going by the accent. So Northern Irish accent, how did that go?
Do you know what? I mean, I was terrified of it when I kind of got the call for the audition. And I think in the audition, I was like, I spent 3 minutes apologizing for the accent before I even opened my mouth. And Helen, our mutual friend, was like, just get on with it, Patrick. But Helen is, you know, one of the best directors in British theatre, I'd say. So she helped me with the accent, helped me find the confidence with it, because that's what an accent's all about. It's just having confidence in it. And, you know, a couple of people were surprised that I'm not actually Northern Irish after the show, so I'm taking that as a compliment.
I love that moment. Whenever I switch from Northern English to Northern Irish, they're always there going, oh, I didn't know that was going to be your voice. It's always very fun.
So say that to David
playing such an iconic one? Oh, yeah, David Tennant does it all the time. What was it like playing such an iconic person who is real then?
It was a big responsibility, I felt, because, I wanted to do it justice for the amazing writing that Stephen had written for the character. And because he was one of the few real characters in the piece, I felt the responsibility to do it justice. And as well, obviously, Mark Ashton sadly died at 26.
Yes.
So
he died of HIV. Only found out, was it 4 days before he died? He only found out.
Yeah, it was
something really short like that. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's sad. And Mark, had he lived, I think would have gone on to be maybe an MP or something massive in politics.
So much.
So I said going into rehearsals, the one thing I wanted to capture about him was his spirit, his passion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely feel like throughout the piece we captured that spirit and passion.
Did he know Peter Tatchell then?
I'm not sure.
Because he was of that time as well, and he came out as a gay MP.
They probably would have been connected because he did so much throughout the UK. Obviously, creating the first UK National Pride is a massive one.
Yeah.
And especially in Huddersfield, of all places.
Yeah, well, they chose Huddersfield because at the time, the Gemini Club, which was the only gay club in Huddersfield, was being targeted by the police.
Right.
And severely targeted. They were trying to shut it down. They were basically trying to purge the gays out of Huddersfield. And all the gays around the UK said, no, we're not having that. We're coming to you to raise our voice. Yeah.
It just shows such
very civil rights, isn't it?
Very civil rights. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You love a civil rights fight.
I do.
She loves a civil rights fight. She's there for everyone to have their rights.
Everybody.
Everybody is like, rights. No, it's fantastic. Now, the show has obviously just ended. Where can we expect to see more of it then?
Well, I'm not too sure with the actual show. I hope it does have another life because, one of the reviews said everybody under 50 needs to see this show, and I couldn't agree more.
Fantastic.
So hopefully that has another life. But it also coincides, part of the project is an exhibition that's going on, opening at the Lawrence Batley Theatre in Huddersfield on the 9th of July to the 9th of September.
Fantastic.
Wow.
And by all accounts, it's an amazing exhibition that kind of highlights people that were at the march, but also people that are making up the LGBTQ plus community in Huddersfield today. So
amazing.
That's one not to miss.
Amazing. It's fantastic. Two very different shows.
Yeah.
But both highlighting such prominent things, even in today's culture.
Definitely, and both highlighting the versatility of Helen Parry as a director.
Yes, Helen Parry will get you that on your blue plaque at the end of the day.
I hope you're watching Helen Parry. All hail you.
All hail you. I need any work. I'm coming to you. It's good to know.
She's a powerhouse.
Well, thank you so much for coming to talk to us, guys, and I can't wait to see it on me whenever it comes at the end of the month for its double world premiere, I guess, both London and here, and hopefully the day that the world came to Huddersfield has life after Manchester.
Yes, and catch the exhibition.
Yes, catch the exhibition until September. For now, let's check out where Paul Rudd's been.
In 1908, the fruity drink Vim Tonic was invented near here. It was later named Vimto and is still loved today. Very fruity, just like me. And here in Vimto Park, central Manchester, that famous drink was commemorated. Now here's your weather. Thursday is looking sunny and cloudy with the temperatures of 19 degrees Celsius. Friday is looking sunny and cloudy with the temperatures of 19 degrees Celsius. And as we approach the weekend's weather right now, Saturday is also looking sunny and cloudy with the temperatures of 20 degrees Celsius. And Sunday is going to look sunny and cloudy with the temperatures of 22 degrees Celsius. So get the sun cream at the ready. Well, that's it for this week's weather. It's going to be nice, so get your shorts and t-shirts on and get yourselves a fan. This is my #1 fan, but you know who has so many fans out there? Our very own Belinda. Time to go back to the studio right now for this week's brilliant episode of Your Manchester.
Oh, yes.
Oh, fans.
She's got lots of fans.
She does. Got lots of fans.
And she'll get lots of votes to get into number 10. Sorry, did I do that again? I just
Can't wait.
Can't
PM
wait.
Scandal.
Yeah. Ooh. Anyway, we're an award-winning show. We are an award-winning show. Our guys in the tech room, Ollie and Frankie, look at them.
Look at that. So
honestly,
cute.
I had a tear in my eye. They not only did they win for their college, Access Creative College, not only did they win the regional award for best film and runner-up for photograph, they won the national award. Now, Access Creative College has got 7 campuses around the country, and they won the whole national award for best film. So well done to them.
Well done to our creative team.
Yes, well done. And yeah.
They're not the only ones winning awards, from what I hear. She fights for the rights of people. She does a lot in the world. Our own Caroline.
Yeah, I got a big fancy event last Thursday. I got an Inspiring Women Worldwide Award. I was very, I nearly cried.
Inspiring women to wear more leopard print.
More women to wear leopard print because it's powerful and people notice you and don't ignore you. Yeah, so that was really good. I won't go on about it because I'm getting really, really embarrassed.
She loves it.
She loves it, really.
Gosh, I should have worn my tiara, shouldn't I? Anyway, there's something happening in November. Can we have the image, please? Right, keep that there. So, the Your Manchester Variety Show, hosted by Duchess of Canal Street, drag queen Belinda Scandal, brings Your Manchester TV, which is watched internationally by over 1 million viewers in 2021. This is going to be at the Stockport Plaza. It's the 3rd live show in 4 years. Will grace the stage of the Plaza on the 17th of November 2022. We might have a guest appearance of Mr. McCaffrey because he's a bit of a superstar now on stage and screen.
Stage, screen, you know me.
And we got regular hosts from the show, Culture Queen Caroline Whitehead, that's yours truly, Queen Bee of TV, Hayley Cartwright, Weatherman Paul Rudd, media matriarch Mark Llewellyn, plus lots more, and some of our Chatterbox crew. Come and enjoy yourself. It's a variety show for all, and we'll highlight fabulous lineup of new talent, including dance troupes, live singers, and comedians. Now, here's my request, everybody. Back to me, studio. Here's my request. I want any performers, dance troupes, comedians, please email us at contact@yourmcr.com if you want to be in our live show. It's not a Britain's Got Talent. It's not an X Factor.
It's as good as. It's better.
Listen, it's better. No golden buzzers here. We're all diamond and platinum. So come on, email us. We want to see you. We want you on our show. And I did mention Chatterbox, didn't I?
You did. So Michael has been hosting Chatterbox for us. What has been going on with the Chatterbox?
You know what? It's been great fun. We've been getting some amazing listeners getting in touch every single day. Calling us, tweeting us, WhatsApping us, requesting songs from around the globe.
From around the globe?
International already?
International.
Oh, transatlantic. Whereabouts are these coming from?
There's this lady, I think she's in Minnesota, and she every single day tweets us all day, every day, saying she's listening.
She's addicted to Chatterbox.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Oh.
So honestly, the numbers as well of people listening have been fantastic. Within our first couple of days, they were through the roof, so we were over the moon about that.
It's brilliant.
Exceeded
if you want to listen to
expectations.
it, you can go and download the app. That's available on Apple and Android, and you can find it online. We're getting everywhere else.
Oh, we are. We're like
a
water.
rash. Yes, water, not a rash.
Yeah, not a rash. Ew.
We get where water doesn't.
We get
We
where
do.
water. That's it. That's the phrase I was thinking of. We get where water
we get where
doesn't.
water doesn't. Well, I hope you've enjoyed your time back in the sofa with us, Michael.
It's been like 2 weeks running.
Yeah.
Hey, what can we say? We like to have you on
Get
the
your
sofa.
name on it soon.
I know. This is where I sleep, if you remember.
Yeah.
Because I'm back on air on Chatterbox at 8 a.m. in the morning.
You can just stay over, spend the night.
I brought my sleeping bag.
I've muesli with Michael.
Love that.
I'll be using that in the morning.
Yeah, use that in the morning.
Well, have you had a good show?
I've had a good show. And you know what? Don't be a stranger, fella. Let us do some more together.
Oh, yeah. See, well, Belinda's going to be running the country, so we're going to have to.
You're going to have to.
We're going to have to do it. But for now, it's goodbye from me and Caroline, and we say another goodbye to you. And it's thank you for watching us on Your Manchester!